Alright guys, I thought it might be cool to attack this beast today. This is the Mul-T-Lock E18H. And of course H stands for, you guessed it, humongous. And this truly is a giant of lock. Probably one of the biggest I think I've ever seen. Just for comparison, here is a Master Lock number 3. Looks almost like a tiny little suitcase lock in comparison to this thing. It weighs 4 pounds, 5 ounces, which is 1.95 kilograms. Here's another lock. We normally think of this, locks about this size as being very, very large, but this weighs 1/4 of this beast. Not only do we have a tough outer core, a lot of steel, but we also have an interesting core. This is the Mul-T-Lock Interactive. You can see the interactive element right there. So we fight our way past that shutter, turn it about 90 degrees, and then when we do that, it's so smooth, this thing literally unlocks itself. 2 massive hardened steel ball bearings hold this shackle in place, so nobody's going to be shimming this thing. And with 11/16 of an inch thick or 18 millimeters of boron hardened steel, I don't think anybody's going to be cropping this. If anything, you guys are going to have trouble finding a chain. By the way, this is recently discontinued by Mul-T-Lock. They said it was too expensive to manufacture and ship out. So if you're a collector and you don't have one of these, you might want to start looking on eBay trying to grab one, because pretty soon they're all going to evaporate. I have to invest in some of these myself. Price can only go up, right? Thought it'd be kind of neat to pick this thing. I'm not going to try to hold 4 pounds, 5 ounces in my hand, so I will try to go ahead and grab put it up in the clamp or in the vise. I will tell you I had a fail though. This is a Sauber Mul-T-Lock pick. So I just stuck it in there and I discovered I could only reach pin 3. And that's because with all this extra armor on the outside of here, you can see by the time you move the shutter away, there's a little more than 1/4 inch of space here that you need to make up for. So I grabbed my backup kit, and what I did is I ground down the shaft of this to give myself about another 1/2 inch to reach in and grab those last 2 pins. I also sharpened the tip of it, and that helps me align the pick with those inner pins just a little bit better to attack them individually. So let me go ahead and put this in a vise and let's get to it. Alright guys, that'll do a pretty good job of keeping this thing centered while I try to pick it. I didn't really want to hold up 4 pounds, 5 ounces of steel. Same key, still works, and shackle falls out, put it back, lock it back up, and we're ready to go. I take my Z-wrench, fit him in the top here, and when I tension him, it shoves that shutter right out of my way. I'm going to take my pointy pick, apply moderate tension to slide him right down the side until I hit a speed bump, and it feels like it's that first one. Alright, I haven't picked anything yet, so let's take a look at that. The first one happens to be the interactive pin. Now a couple things about the interactive pin. He's quite different from these others. The others have an outer pin cut to one depth and then an inner pin cut to another depth. He's different. He only has one depth, and it's for both inner and outer. So pretty interesting stuff. The other thing you notice is that when you mash him, there he is popped fully up. There's not a lot of depth to him, so he almost always will be very deep cut. So we got a very deep cut pin, and both inner and outer are to the same depth. All right, if you're ever going to bully a Mul-T-Lock pin, this is the one to abuse. Let's do it. Take my pick, apply moderate tension, get centered on that interactive pin, and shove him out of our way. Get in there. There we go. So already we got a fault set. So I've taken a 10-pin lock, and with just that much effort, I've turned it into an 8-pin lock. Too easy. Keep sliding it, and you're going to find another binder, and this one feels like 2. So get your pick only on the outer pin, and I'm getting some counter rotation, so he's a spool. Got him. Keep moving. Pin 3, counter rotation, spool. Okay, I think we got him. And I planned this. Pin 4. They don't usually come in sequence, but I will take it. Get on there. Position your pick. He also is giving me some counter rotation, so he's also spool. Got him. And the last one, pin 5, spool. All right, I'm going to pull my pick out, and I'm checking everybody as I go. All right, at this point, I've got all the outer pins picked. It doesn't mean they're not going to pop up. It just means for now, I can go in and start feeling around for those inner pins. I'm going to apply a little more tension. You will still feel the pins, but they're under very light spring tension. I'm trying to find one that binds or perhaps gives me a little bit of feedback. And that was pin 4. Got a deep fault set. Looking for another one to give me a little bit of feedback. I'm going to go ahead and check the interactive. Sometimes they stab you in the back, pop up on you. I think we're good. And there we go. All right, how easy was that? Not so easy. These are quite a challenge. It takes a lot of feel to get the hang of these. All right, let's go ahead. Let me keep them in camera. Keep them in a frame. Come on, camera. Cooperate. There we go. All right, get that vise out of here. And let me find a pin tray. Well, first let's take him apart. Because he's so big, I don't want to put him on the wood. In order to get this guy apart, I read the instructions. There is a screw in there. Right there. And he looks like about a 4mm. Got to be metric. And that is not it. How about a 5? That is more like it. Oh, other way, Bill. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. All right, I think that's got it. Okay, here comes everything. Oops, there's the screw. Okay, that's not, here's the important part right here. Let's move this stuff out of here. I don't need that stuff. I do need that tiny spring though. I'm sure he'll be important at some point in my life. And let's just this guy over here. All right, point this straight down. And let's figure out how to gut him. All right, he is picked. Let's go ahead and lock him back up. Need a Phillips. Okay, we do have the key here somewhere, and we're going to need a follower. Let me see if I have the right size follower. I got a few to pick from. That looks about right. We'll go with him. Yep. So now I'm taking the pins and putting them right along here. So when I slide this guy out, they'll be pointed skyward. Come out without launching. Pretty tight fit. Okay, you see all the pin and pins, and then up here it looks like a ball bearing. That's kind of neat. Anti-drill, hardened steel ball bearing. That'll definitely keep you out of there. Let's dump these and then we'll take a closer look at the core. Okay, nothing too weird about that. Got some anti-drill pins here on the side. All right. Let me sort these guys real quick. All of these inner pins do have little lips on them. 1, 2, and 3 are all standards, and then it looks like 4 and 5 are both spools. Oop, come here, you. Don't want to get that screwed up. Inside of here, we have a little ridge. You can see that. To snag the pins, you get caught up in there. So here's another little, so 1 and 2 have it. 3 has it. Alright, 4, the spool does not. And 5, the spool also does not. Alright, let's see what we got upstairs. Okay, standard. There's the, oops. There's what's going to grab a hold of that undercut that on that pin. So that's a perfect match. Second one. Come here, you. Second one is a spool, and he also has that little ridge to grab that undercut. Number 3, also a spool, also with the undercut. Four is a spool. He's got an undercut, but the spool below him did not. So this must kind of be the stock configuration. They just use those pins for everything, it looks like. And the last one. Same thing. He's got the little cut. Oh! Way to go, Bill. Had to happen, right? Here's a little undercut, but no undercut in the spool itself. And in the Bible, we'll dump these guys out. It's not going to worry too much about that. The springs are all stock. It's a stock lock, straight from the factory. Probably one of the last of its kind. Nothing unusual about the body itself. So there you go, guys. The Mul-T-Lock E18 gigantic. How about that? Anyway, guys, appreciate your time. Stay safe. Stay legal. Let's look at the pins. All stock, guys. Try to imagine if they tricked them out for us. My goodness. We'd never get them open. Hold on, before you leave, click that subscribe button. And while you're there, click that notification bell as well. If you'd like to be a sponsor, click there, and for $5 a month, you get all kinds of benefits. If that's not enough free stuff, hit the Lock Lab. We've got a self-paced lockpicking course with over a dozen modules at the bottom of the page. Join the tribe. Subscribe.